Matter. Hey folks, what's up? I always like to play, the game of am I muted, am I not muted? I always like to play that game. It's a very fun, cat and mouse game. Anyway, it's a long day, folks. Actually, it's been a long month. Just what happened. Actually, it's not that long. That's why they gave it to us. Anyway, folks, what like nobody's ever said that before. Come on, folks, we got a lot going on. We've got reviews, we've got events, we've got Robert drinking out of a device. I don't know why it's a device. I've never heard of a cup. What is that type of future device? Yeah, it's a cup. Oh, what's
It's a
okay,
future
spaceman?
Stanley.
What are you doing with that, time traveler? Yeah, this is how we're gonna start the show. It doesn't matter, folks. That's fine. But yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. We're gonna have a fun, action-packed show. Well, not so action-packed. Like it's not gonna like I'm doing my own stunts or anything. I don't know where this intro is going. I really don't. Sorry, folks. Robert, are you ready?
I am ready. I'm
You're
ready.
ready.
hmm
All right, folks. Let's have some fun. Let's go. Hey, folks, and welcome to another episode of TBA News. Excuse me. This is your comics culture news edition on the Hungry Bleak channel. I am Antonio Pamares, aka the Hungry Bleak, the hungriest man in the room.
And I am Rob the writer J, slinging these words across the page.
This man always has a syllable locked and loaded, ready to unload upon the peoples. He's got syllables. He's got what was the other one that there was one participles. He's got semicolons. He's got all types of onomatopoeia. He's got everything. He's got every. I don't know. I'm just trying to use as many words as I can remember from English class. I always liked onomatopoeia. I don't know why. I just always liked that one. That was just
It's a good
always
word.
so word is stuck in my head. There's a Batman villain whose name is onomatopoeia as well. It's amazing. All right. So first, let me say happy new comic book day to everyone.
Happy New Comic Day.
There's a lot out there. Hope you saw our post earlier about just just some of the stuff that was coming out today. It was like a whole summer. Like, oh my god, this is great. This is amazing. So there's always something to read, and that kind of makes us happy because then we get to talk about the stuff. So let's get into our first bit of news, Robert.
Yep. Guns a blazing. That's how we open this up. So without getting into getting into kind of what happened, there was a discourse between on the Blurred Without Fears channel, YouTube channel run by Ernie. Blanking on the last name. Really cool guy, supporter of indie comic books. But he responded to a discussion from another creator, and I'm actually not even going to drop the name of the other YouTube channel here. You can find it, but I highly recommend checking out the Blurred Without Fears page. But once I watched this video, watched a couple of responses, and so forth, I wanted to discuss. The topic was mainly on Black comic books, mainstream and in indie, and some people's lack of being informed about said spheres of comic books. And as a Black creator, once I kind of took in all this information or this discourse, I wanted to just kind of say a couple of things. There are places that celebrate us as Black independent or Black comic book creators, and there are places that don't, both indie and mainstream. There are some places that don't just isolate us to 1 month, and there are places that actively seek us and our stories out. These are the places that are inclusive to all Black experiences that aren't on some problematic self-hate, anti-LGBTQ, colorism, misogynistic stuff. They do the work, even if sometimes it's fruitless and difficult. They do the work because they want us to succeed in this industry, which with all its progress still builds up obstacle after obstacle. So as a creator, those are the people who I seek out when looking to discuss my work as a Black comic book creator. And I thank them for existing, being here, and giving a damn, because it's difficult out here in these comic book creating streets. The the places and the people that celebrate Black comic book creators and the work that we're doing, the non-problematic stuff, are too numerous for me to kind of list here. But the ones that stand out for me are The Hungry Bleak, BlackSci-Fi.com, Blurred Without Fear, The Indie Comics Dispatch, The Blurred Girl, Frankie the Fanboy Fighter, Nerd Soul, and Carefree Black Nerd. So that's what I took as a independent a black comic book creator, a writer who's been doing this for 20 plus years. Celebrate those who celebrate you and who try to provide a spotlight into stuff that you don't know about. Because I even feel that sometimes within mainstream comic book that there's stuff that is still underreported. But it definitely when it comes to indie, but they're just excuse my language, fuck with those who fuck with you. And if they don't give them the time of day. Because it was a hard lesson that I've had to learn, even last year, still hustling, trying to get, people to check out our work, check out my work. And there are doors that are still constantly closed. So that's kind of like my 2 cents on that. It's not as eloquent as some people might put it, but it is, what was on my heart after watching, the discussion, that happened on, the Blurred Without Fear channel. So that's, those are, kind of my 2 cents on it. Antonio, I didn't know if you had anything to add, as far as with that, but that's, that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Mine's just pretty simple. And it's not to be dismissive or anything, but I couldn't give a shit. Because person didn't want to talk about it. So why would I waste any energy on you? You good over there? All right, cool. Then I'm gonna be over here doing my thing. On both sides of the fence, I was annoyed. And that's when I said, no, I'm gonna step back and just stay in my lane and do what I do, because I don't do it for obviously money. Sorry, folks, I'm not trying to be funny or dismissive, but I'm honestly saying I don't do it for money. If I did do it for money, my heart would be even lighter, truthfully. I do it because I believe in the books, I believe in the creators, and I believe that we needed something out there. I've been doing this longer than a lot of your faves have, but too many of you on both sides of the fence care about likes, shares, going viral. That's your new currency. And I've said this before, and I will say it again because it is true. You look at the quantity and not the quality of the person saying the words, and not the context of the person saying the words or any of that. Everyone wants to look more at the likes. Oh, this person has this many followers. Let me go follow them because they're Black and they have that many followers. Not paying attention to what the person is actually saying, who they're choosing to showcase. None of it. Okay, cool. That's what y'all get down. That's how y'all get down with. Again, not my barbecue, not my plate. I'm gonna go over here and chill. I saw someone even post saying, I wish these black nerd and geek podcaster would stop talking about him and start talking about us and our books that we have out. No problem, man. That's cool. I understand that. But let me also say this to you. You're also speaking about him right now when you could instead be saying, hey, I know you don't have this person here anymore. Y'all don't want to check him out. But please check out this person. You could be doing that. Too many people have this main character want and need. They want to be the person. They want to be the focal point. And I get that, social media gives us all a bit of a confidence boost, which we need, especially nowadays. It's a bit hard. But look, that ain't it. Okay, this is a hot topic for a few days. I personally don't really care to talk about it. But This is a story that Rob wanted to speak about, so I'm gonna speak on it a little bit. In the grand scheme of things, I don't care. I didn't follow the other guy. Anybody who can talk for 3 hours by themselves like that, obviously, I don't want to even deal with that. Blurred Without Fear, I've never really checked out his stuff. I've seen some of the things that he's had to say on Threads. I dig it. I liked it. No one on about my business. You know what I mean? That's it. As far as him not caring about that, cool. You don't care about that. I'm gonna be over here with the people that I do care about, talking about their books, acknowledging the history, acknowledging the present, and looking towards the future. Those are the books I care about. Yes, I'll talk about some Marvel and DC stuff if it's hitting me in a certain way. Obviously, yes, but 9 times out of 10, you're gonna find me talking about indie books. You're gonna see me talking about black creators, black events, those things like that, because that's what needs to be spoken about. That's my bread and butter. That's where my heart is at. That's where my spirit and my soul are at. Y'all want to talk about this, what have you. But also remember, for the creators who are out there saying, "Oh, they should be talking about us." When have y'all talked about these shows when your books haven't been on? It's a reciprocating cycle of energy. We talk about you, you talk about us. We talk about you, we all help each other. It's a team effort. It's a community effort. A rising tide raises all ships. So let's all have each other's backs. Now, if somebody's on some messed up stuff or problematic or such or whatever going like that, that's another thing. Obviously, don't. But if the person is down and they're for this and they're look, I'm gonna say it like I've been saying this for about a week. If they're for us, by us, and loving us, then let's have that person's back. I'll talk about comics all day, and there are people who I don't have their comics on the show every time I'm on, but they'll say, "Hey, you know what, Doug? What you did with this, Doug? What you did with that? Hey, check his show out. He's cool. What have you?" But if you don't talk about any of these shows except when your book is on, you're part of the problem as well.
Or share a link when you appear on the show. I mean, I'm just after you.
I mean, there's so much stuff that can be done on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, we're paying for your books. We're reading your books. We're showing off your books. We're paying for your merch. We're putting in for your Kickstarters. We're wearing your shirts because we love what you're doing. And we want to tell more people about it. Hey, check out this book, check out this creator, check out this. But some of y'all are very like, oh, well, somebody needs to talk about my stuff. Talked about your stuff when the Kickstarter was going on, talked about it when it was live, talked about it, reviewed it, everything. Why don't you, talk about other shows that are out there that you're not necessarily on that week or what have you? We got to help each other out. That's how we all end up rising and becoming more, is by helping each other out. It's the only way, folks. It's the only way. And that's all I got to say about it. It's a topic actually that I think should be just done. Put in the ice box, lock it. Cool. I don't have the energy. I ain't got the time to place the energy. Truly don't.
Well, so like, yeah. I mean, like I said, from a creator point of view, I wanted to actually just talk about it, or at least give like the 2 cents, because most of the talking that I saw was from people who followed both of the places, and I saw a couple of other writers and artists kind of giving their 2 cents, but it wasn't as much as people who actually follow these two spots. Yeah, like I said, that's that's what I felt was on my heart. So, but yeah.
No, I have no problem. Like I said, this was a topic that has been out, and that you're obviously a Black creator, so this is something that hits not just your pocket, but your soul and your heart and your
don't hit
mind.
my pocket. I don't make no money off this shit.
I mean, I don't know, but I mean, like your own stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, between I mean, like some of it, I'm just like, this is what we talk about during Black History Month. And now I will go back to never mentioning either of those people again, because like I said, I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm not in those circles. I stay in my own little thing, do my thing. That's it. Blurred Without Fear. So the stuff that I've seen on Threads, I dug what he said, liked it. I think I reposted a couple of things, and then just kept it moving. I have to focus. The other person, like I said, when I saw the runtime of some of those videos, and it's just him, I said, there's something. No, not sitting in a room for that long a time, explaining to you a long ass Marvel book too. Like, I'm like, yo, you know what? You would have had it would have went quicker if you read it. And that's that. That's all I got to say about it. I'm done with that. Next up, VirtuousCon is upon us. Well, it's almost upon us. I mean, it is upon us. Like, this is the week. So VirtuousCon, this year, it is on February 21st and 22nd. That is this Saturday and Sunday, a beautiful weekend event, completely virtual from the beauty of your home or your screen, wherever you're at, your mobile device, your mother box or what have you, tablet, laptop, smart TV, I would think too, possibly, if you got the right connection.
Yeah,
you got everything going. Yeah, probably. Yeah, love that. This year the theme is the art of resistance, which we definitely do need this year. Obviously, we needed it last year too. Actually, we're probably gonna need it for the next few years. Let's be honest. So the thing about this is this beautiful event. This is the fifth.
I think so.
Fifth one, I think, right? Yeah. Last year they took a break, but this year they are back and with a vengeance. I mean, they have a killer roster of panels, vendors. Robert is vending as well. Robert will be there as one of the vendors. I will actually be there in an official capacity as well. I will be, I will be moderating a panel on resistance in comics on Saturday, 1 p.m. But this just in, folks, what? One of our co-hosts, Jabba Chan, will be there also in official capacity. She will be dealing with some gaming stuff. Stay tuned to check that out. Please go follow her to see all the details about that, or go on the website VirtuousCon.com and see you'll see all the vendors, all the special guests, everything that's going out there. You see the schedule for the panels, everything. So basically, TBA News is in the building, virtually, because nobody's actually going outside, but this is virtually in the building. I think that's really great. I love seeing the three of us doing this event, all in our own capacities and in our our fields of love and expertise. I think it's going to be a really great event. Last year, like I said, took a break, which sometimes you need to do. Come back this year stronger and bigger than ever. Also, I don't know if y'all saw this as well, but Aldous Hodge is going to be there.
Yeah,
Aldous Hodge is going to be there, folks. This is a huge one. I'm actually I'm a huge fan of both Anika Noni Rose as well. Aldous Hodge, I'm all for this. I mean, Cross, I'm getting to season 2 now. I got to see season 2 before the panel. He's gonna have a panel with the Blurred Girl, Kara Mahorn, and his business partner. I'm trying to remember the gentleman's name.
Phil Botti. Phil. I think it's Phil Botti or Phil Botti.
Yeah,
I'm going in the wrong.
Yeah, that's awesome as hell. I love that. It's going to be a great event. Like I said, it's a 2-day event, 21st and 22nd. Tickets are still available. It's virtual, obviously. It's not like the virtual space is going to fill up. It's not like, oh man, we can't take no more laptops.
The server.
Nah, man. It's not like there's a virtual bouncer like clicking and going, nah, man. You gotta wait till somebody come out, bro. You know what I mean? It's not, but it's beautiful. My particular panel, I have David F. Walker. I have Stephanie Williams.
Yep.
I have TJ Sterling, and from Midnight Comics, I want to say is Natasha. She's also from Melanated Minds. I have not interacted with her before, so this is a really cool thing that I'll be able to get to know someone else in these Black geek culture in these streets and see what's going on. I'm truly excited. So yeah, this will be a great event. February 21st, 22nd. Go check it out. Go get your tickets and have huge fun. Absolutely love that, folks. Love it. Just it'll be good to be just chopping it up there with everybody. Speaking of Choppin Blades, what Choppin Blades? I tried, but that I'm not gonna lie, pull my hip on that one. That was a hard one. Choppin Blades 1 and 2 review. Robert, take it away.
Yeah. So for those who are fans of this page, you might have heard about the series, but then also the writer creator, Damien Becton. We are big fans, big
Yes.
fans of Mr. Becton and his work on books like Worlds Away. And I think the other one I have is Catabasis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so Choppin Blades is I think it was maybe last year, latter part of last year, there's a Kickstarter done for issue 2 of the series. And I was able to get both of the first and second issue. And the series, from the overview, is Choppin Blades returns with issues 1 and 2. It is a 20 plus page comic that's set on a modern Earth where magical demolition derbies called Hexolution derbies are a top mainstream and underground sport. A young, talented derby driver and sorcerer named Ryan hits the Third Coast city highways that are filled with dangerous mythical creatures and other relentless drivers to steal a relic that could save his father's life. Yo, so this is a book that capitalizes on the insanity in a good way of the storytelling that of the medium of comic books. One of the things that I'm really enjoying Becton's work for specifically is that he likes to meld genres in such a way that his stories feel like refreshingly fresh. And I love a good, just straightforward sci-fi. I love a good, straightforward superhero story, horror and cop drama. But when you have somebody like Mr. Becton, what he does, or I'm just going to say Damien, is he mashes all this stuff up in like a gumbo style, and it just works. One of the, as you see with this scene, first of all, Damien has a love for like Southern car culture, or just like hip hop car culture, which is very apparent in this story. I am not a car expert, so there are things that I'm learning, as like I drive my Ford Escape, and that's about it, right? It's like you got an engine, it runs, right? But what I love is that Damien knows his stuff, and you see this, like, sometimes I think of something like Fast and Furious, where it's like an appreciation of, like, underground car racing and just car culture, and that's that appreciation. But then where he goes deeper is the magic system, which I love. So like the magic system is applied to the the cars that you see in this, in such a way. It has a Brandon Sanderson Mistborn Avatar the Last Airbender element bending vibe to it. And so he goes deep into it, as if like you're like a D&D fan studying the magic system. The setting of the South for the city where it's set is like I said, the car hip hop music culture was another thing that stood out to me, but also the book feels authentic, and this melding, like I said, of magic, dragons, mystical fights, and trap music just flows seamlessly together. One of the things that I wanted to point out were the QR codes that are on each of these pages, which, at least with some of the pages, where you have, you can scan it and listen to music, which kind of sets the tone or the mood for the that particular part of the series. The other thing that I also love is that, just in general, I think Damien is going to have a long career in comic books, because he has this ability to genre hop, like I said, from space opera adventure in Worlds Away to horror, supernatural, action, and Catabasis or
We've said it
Catabasis.
about 9 different times. You
Yeah.
have awakened one of the old ones more than
Yeah.
I have, and I'm always awakening an old god, always.
And now you have like the diesel punk demolition derby. And so one of the things as a writer that I appreciate are creators who can do that, as a writer and as a fan. And I think he has unlocked the master code, for that. So I am a fan. I am appreciative as a creator, and I think Chopping Blades is yet another example of this boy showing out in the best way possible. Just like this, we have the main character showing out about to fight a dragon. I want to give a proper shout out to the creative team. Like I said, writer Damian Beckton, artist Marco Mercury, the colorist Antonio Ramos Wong, letterer Reed Hinckley Barnes, the editor Devin Arscott, and logo book design also Damian. So the 2 issues are out. I highly recommend checking them out, going to pick them up. If you love just a good magical adventure, like a modern, I think there's a term for like modern magic books, but this is definitely something that I want more people to pick up and give it a shot. And I enjoyed it very much. So definitely check out Choppin Blades. First 2 issues are out.
Yeah, I've had Damien on. Y'all have heard me talk about him. Y'all have heard me talk to him, how much I dig his stuff. Just as a person, he's a cool being. And everything, like you said, he does hop from genre to genre. And he does such a great job with it. First time I heard about him was through Worlds Away during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I remember reading it and going, wait, what? I was sitting on my patio and I was reading and I was like, wait, what? And I was like, hold on. And I had to read it again. I've read it, the first issue I've read about 5 times because I read it a couple of times by myself. Then I read it when the other issues were coming out. This is so good. Choppin Blades. Yeah, he has a love of the cars, the music and everything. And it's beautiful to see someone have the passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
And the passion just infuses more of the skill and talent as well.
Yep.
Like he's just like he looks excited to write about this. You could probably have a dartboard up with different topics and just throw the dart randomly, and it'll hit stuff, and he'll just go, yeah, I got this, and he'll just give you something that is just absolutely knock your socks off. So yeah, this is just one absolutely. I didn't run or jog or what have you to the Kickstarter. I booked a first class like on the Concorde jet and flew to this Kickstarter when I heard about it. I was like, that yeah, I got to be a part of this. And it's awesome. I mean, yeah, it's just great. So yeah, it's definitely one to pick up. Is Choppin Blades 1 and 2 are out. Yeah, it's just so much fun. God, I just love seeing just the fun and the coolness of everything out there. Just ridiculous, man. It's just so much stuff. It's beautiful. Speaking of stuff that is out there, we have Vicky Styx, The Dead Princess #2, and this is from Unstoppable Comics. As I always call them, I call them the first family of comics because they literally are a family unit. Like it's literally like this family publisher, quite literally. At the head of that is JD Rosario, someone who I've known for years and years and years. One of the hardest working guys. If you see his booth at New York Comic Con, you already know it's a fun time. It's great, and he's never sitting. You'll see him standing, talking to everyone as if he is the mayor of like small press or of New York Comic Con. I absolutely love that feeling, though. This is the second issue. Excuse me, folks. The first issue was out, I want to say maybe last year. Time has no meaning anymore, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. It really doesn't. Yeah, but we're picking up at issue 2. With Vicky the Dead Princess, who is like almost like a bounty hunter warrior kind of thing. And there's this it's just first thing I want to say is I love the fact that Unstoppable Comics started going into more the supernatural aspect of storytelling. They were known for superhero stuff. Obviously, with Storm Chasers. The first book I knew from them was Interceptor. Which I absolutely love, about a black footballer, like football from like England, like not here, where soccer, a footballer who gets the shield that was supposed to accompany Excalibur, and he becomes a hero using that shield. And Interceptor is a football term, soccer term for I think a person who actually cuts off the player with the ball. So I think he's intercepting the player. So
Okay.
I want to say it's been a while since I've really watched soccer, football. Um, Football just makes more sense over truthfully. I mean, our football is you hold it with your hands, you kick the ball like twice. Come on, America. Let's get with it. Also, metric system. Let's just jump over to that. Can we please with everybody else? Anyway, so yeah, so um I love seeing them go into this. There was also the other comic that they delved into was Limbo, which was another supernatural one, which was a lot of fun about a bar. Um I'm not gonna even tell you any more about that one. It was just crazy and wild and fun. But this is more of like I said, a horror supernatural action where she actually goes up against monsters. Um, and she has this little, and there's a bar. I'm trying to remember the name of the bar that you first see her in, but I'll give you like a pretty much a heads up from their words themselves. Vicky Styx is unstoppable defender of the dark. She walks the shadowy lane between our world and the one that lurks just beneath. While most, excuse me, while most fear the creature of the night, Vicky understands them because she is one, armed with an ancient knowledge and an attitude uh, not to mess with. Vicky is the last line of defense for werewolf, specters, and all things that go bump in the night. Absolutely, yes. And yes, folks, I can read. I just don't have my glasses on. So some of those words were kind of swimming around and I had to catch them. I love the fact that it's a supernatural horror action book that has a female protagonist.
Mhm.
I love that fact. Normally, it's a guy who's on a big motorcycle. He's got a bad attitude. He's got a chomping a cigar. You get like you have like that anti-hero feel almost. I like the fact that we're getting Vicky. Also, the way that her name is Styx. If you know Styx, not just the band, but also the River Styx,
Yeah.
that whole mythology with that. I love that fact. So going into everything like that, and um, just her being able to stand on her own and being this incredible fighter and warrior and this defense against the things that you never think about that you think are just made up. Meanwhile, they're just lurking around the corner is absolutely fun. And just you can see some of the action scenes here. Love the art. It's just it feels right. Even the colors of it as well, being kind of it almost looks like there's almost like a film,
Yeah.
like it's been excuse this phrasing, but it's been wiped with a bloody rag
Hmm.
over it, just to convey that kind of darkness. Like you look at this scene, you can smell the room. That's good and bad in both ways. I love when art can convey that and make me feel like I'm in the room there. I'm a fan of them. Um, I love anything that gives me that darker side, that side that's just. I love sci-fi, space operas, um, anything like that. But I love having that not so polished
Yeah.
supernatural nastiness side to things, and to see Unstoppable go into that realm, which is like I said, for a realm that for the longest time they did more superheroes, is absolutely beautiful, and I want to see more of what JD and the rest of the crew can come up with this. Now the Kickstarter is really just started. It started Friday actually. So we've got 23 days left to go. It's been funded, so congratulations to them as well. But keep going with it because then the more you give out, the more you donate, the more you pre-order. They'll actually have some stretch goals, possibly more things will pop up. Maybe a T-shirt, maybe some shot glasses, which I have a bunch of them from them. Um, Other variants as well, all types of things, which I absolutely love. And yeah, because to have a defender of the dark, but also a defender of some of the creatures that are in the dark as well, because they're not all evil, is cool to me. So yes, Vicky Styx, the Dead Princess issue 2, the Kickstarter is live now, and you'll actually be able to pick up issue 1 as well if by chance you missed it, because tiers, you'll have everything in there from digital to print, and then also some of the backlog of a lot of the Unstoppable comics because they have a plethora of comics out there. So yeah, Vicky Styx, go check it out, folks. It will be a fun one.
That's awesome.
Uh, yeah, next one up for Robert, a new game out there. Hit us.
Yep. So the game in question is Relooted, and the it's a game put out by I'm just messing up words today. Nyamakop, um, a South African video game developer based out of South Africa, and the game I guess popped up on the radar earlier this year or late last year because of the concept. The game looks good. I saw the trailer, but as the pitch says, a crew, a job, a plan, toss those ingredients together, and you've got yourself a classic heist, but with a few twists. Your crew members are everyday citizens with pretty normal careers from different countries in Africa. The job is to liberate African artifacts from Western museums, and the plan, well, that's up to you to create. So the concept of a crew from South Africa, or just from the continent, coming together to, I'm going to say, liberate or take back the artifacts that have been taken from the motherland, had me at go. They had me with that alone. But when I looked at the trailer and the game, the gameplay for it, it looked pretty cool, and it got me like even more hyped to pick it up when it came out. So it was released last week on the 10th, and so I've had a chance to kind of to play it a little bit. And one of the things that it's kind of a side scroller, so that's kind of the setup. So it's a single player side scroller set. And the closest thing that I could compare it to is like a Metroidvania, but it's a runner. So I don't know if it's so you're not fighting against, at least where I'm at in the game, against like specific people, like Metroid, you're not shooting or whatever, but you are literally running and figuring out puzzles while also platforming from area, from level, floor to floor, level to level. And it's beautifully animated, like you can see here. You have your objectives up here in the top left corner, and then the main character, I want to make sure I get the sister's name right, Nomali is the primary, at least for where I'm playing the game, is the primary person that you're running the game as. And the other thing that stands out about this game is the design of this world. It's I don't know if it's in the far flung, in the near future, but it has an Afrofuturist vibe to it as far as the design or the setting of the game. And like you're outside, you can meet up with different people in the city, I think in Johannesburg, and this gives you an idea of what the game kind of, how it's structured. So you have to figure out how to get from one room to the other, get to the next floor, and then you get your objective. But I mean, you get your, what you're trying to, take back. But with each floor, at least where I've played, the opening mission was to save the main character's brother. His name is, trying to see if I can get this right. Bear with me. Sorry about that. And I just lost it. I think I deleted. Okay, Trevor. So Molly has to say Trevor, and I will say that I was parkouring all over the place. Like there's a moment in the game where you're just like you got this, like, I don't know, parkour vibe or push, and I'm like jumping through windows, twirling over rooftops, and and I always say it's like that part from The Office where you go parkour, and it just flows. It is fast paced. It is fun. It is action packed. At one point, I did have to get away from some drones, some like robotic drones. So I don't think necessarily that I could turn around and fight them, but it was just like you do the objective, get the item, and you just have to run out. So that's basically the gist of it. And the other thing that I loved was the storyline between Nomali and Trevor, sister and brother. And it seems like Trevor is he's a tech head. He's an expert in his field when it comes to computers and robotics, but he's the brother that gets into Ish all the time. But he is the one, I think, that brings Nomali and the crew into this larger story where they're taking back these this historic items. I completed the prologue, getting into chapter 1. But like I said, it's if you're into games like Metroidvania type of games, side scrollers where you're hopping from wall to wall and you have to figure out puzzles, I definitely think that it is. I picked it up for like 15. I think it was like $15, and
It's not bad.
it is definitely worth it. So I don't know. We were talking in the the green room, or however you want to however you want to refer to it. I just want this game to get to more of us, gamers in general, but Black gamers, because this is the type of game that we always ask for. And it is good. It is, I think last year for me, it would have been South of Midnight. That was the one that I was kind of singing the praises of, with a Black protagonist. And it wasn't like an all Black developer, but, we had a lot of us on the crew, and they, the developer did their homework into Black culture here in the States. But this one, Relooted, I want more people to give it a shot. I say, if you can buy Battlefields and, not Game of Thrones, GTAs all day, you can chip in some money to something like this if you're looking for something different. But I've enjoyed it. I'm probably going to stream it on Twitch and upload it to my YouTube channel. So hopefully, y'all won't see me falling flat on my face. But it is a fun game, and it is I'm enjoying it. So I Relooted, definitely check it out. It is definitely worth the purchase.
Outstanding. Yeah, it looks like a really fun game, and I like the difference of being like the side scroller, and it's just like kind of even though I don't like platforming, I like having that difference of having a platformer and having some puzzle elements in there as well. It makes it more fun, and it's just something different that we need. It's a different vibe and a different story too that we don't really get. So absolutely love that. And our last story or topic, aside from what we have at the end here, is there was a comic that I was made aware of on Facebook. On a few times I do go to Facebook, sometimes they will recommend comics to me in groups that I'm not even in, which is kind of odd. I don't understand that. But I saw a post about, someone saying, I have this comic out and it's called Reaper. And I said, well, you've got me. A Black, like Grim Reaper. Absolutely. As I've said before in the past, I don't know what this says about me, but I have this fascination with the personification of death, whether it is as a Grim Reaper, whether it is in Bleach, whether it was death on Supernatural, in comics, Grim, like anything like that. I've always had that fascination. It's just very interesting to me, the personification of it. So we have this comic called Reaper, and this is from Echelon. Well, and this is number 1. This is from Echelon graphic novels. This is not a graphic novel, it's issue 1. That kind of confused me as well, because I was like, oh, they do graphic novels, and it was issue 1. I was like, wait, hold on a second. But it's well worth it. I cannot wait until this is collected. So we have writer and creator is Charlie Wilson, not that Charlie Wilson. This is the writer Charlie Wilson. Because when I first saw it, I was like, wait, what? Seriously? I dead thought it was him. I was like, oh snap! But it's not him. It's not. But that's why I had to make sure that everybody it's not him. Artist is Julia Gualazzi. Colors is Carlos Eduardo. Letters, excuse me, is Alex Schirkenbach. Hope I pronounced that properly. I probably unleashed the old god as well by saying that. Graphics are the Branding Maven LLC, and I got the B cover. I love the fact that for the digitals you can get the different variant covers, which I love. I love that about Kickstarters too, how you can get different variant covers for your digitals. I absolutely love that. So the one I got, this one in particular, which was the B cover, this is from Janoy Lindsay. So basically, let me read this real quick for you, and then I'm going to show you some of the art inside. So this is the story. James Wright never asked to inherit the family business of death, but when demons tear apart everything he knows, he's forced to confront a destiny he's been running from his whole life. Reaper's a dark, emotional coming-of-age story that blends supernatural horror, family tragedy, and explosive action. From blood-soaked battles against demonic fiends to the heartbreaking discovery that will change James forever, this debut issue pulls no punches, and it absolutely does not. First off, this is the cover that I got. I absolutely loved it. it just looked so cool. And so I'll actually show you here. It will be better. But yeah, this is the cover. I absolutely loved it because it just kind of sets you up for everything that you're going to be seeing here. So this is James, right? This is our lead character. You see him with a scythe or comma and chain. And I thought that was just beautifully done. Even the aura about him as well gives off. So first part is called Devil's Advocate. So James is away at school. He's a basketball star, absolutely having a great time. Meanwhile, he doesn't realize at home that his mom, I don't know what's about to say, his mother, his father and mother. It's been a long day, folks. Leave me alone. His father and mother are at home. They're doing what they do. Just being black family, loving each other. They're cooking dinner, and all of a sudden, their house is surrounded by these demonic forces. And his father realizes, I have to fight these things off. I'm going to have to go in and do this, but he does it without the help of a spirit. Now, because of who they are and the abilities that they have, they can actually use spirits to help them be stronger and to help them fight. He sends the spirit to go get James and to tell him what's going on. So while the spirit is away, his father has to fight without that extra bit of power. Tells his wife, run, go. And he's like, he goes outside and he's like, you know what, knuck if you buck, I got this. He goes out there to start tearing them up, which I absolutely love. The ferocity in some of these fights, again, reminds me of manga and anime, and I love that more creators, more black creators especially, who have been watching manga and who have been reading manga, who've been watching anime, it's influencing them. Yeah. And they're realizing these epic battles and fights, because why not do that? Go all out. So you see him, he decides, I'm going after everything. I'm going all out. And just as the battle is about to start and he's about to go in, which I love this part, when you can actually see the lyrics back there, and then we go to James and he's getting ready for the game. He's chilling. He sees the ghost but doesn't pay attention to him. Meanwhile, like I said, at the game, the ghost is telling him, you got to come home. He says, no, I don't want to go home. It's not what I do. I'm sure they sent you to come get me. The ghost helps him when he starts to get a cramp, and he starts playing ball even better. And he finds out that his parents have been attacked by these demon forces, and he doesn't know what's going to happen. Rushes home to find them just absolutely, as you can see here, finds them murdered, just devastated. This is the point that I realized this was going to hurt emotionally in so many ways, because as he sees this, he begins to cry and tear. This reminds me so much of Get Out, when he's in the chair and he's starting to cry. That art right there hit me. And he realizes, and he starts saying, this is your fault. 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 Or it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. And he just goes all out. You see the comma and chain sickle come out, and he lays waste to these beings, and it's your fault, and screaming. This is him lashing out, him trying to get it all out. And at the end of this battle, he's devastated. He's crying. He's tired. He's weak. The rain, and he finally says, it's my fault. He's been speaking to himself the whole time he's been doing this fight. And that was how they ended it. And I was so pissed that I only got this bit. I love how more and more I'm seeing more comics dealing with emotional trauma. I talked about this, about the Diary of Sweet Pea. I've talked about this with Something's Killing the Children. And I'm going to talk about this with Reaper as well. Seeing characters who are obviously so supernaturally strong and fit, they can do this, do that, but they still have this pain, this trauma inside that was caused by whatever, and that destroys James, and he lets loose, and he wants to find out what happened. I absolutely loved this. Not only have I always wanted to see a Black Grim Reaper go at it, similar to if I was watching Soul Reaper. No, Soul Eater. Excuse me, Soul Eater. Soul Eater. I always got to see the Meisters fight, but I never got to see a Black Meister fight. And there was a Black Meister, but we never really got to see him get down. I loved seeing this, letting loose just all the supernatural power in the world, and his family business being death. What does that mean? How did y'all get here? How did you get this power? How do you like everything? So many questions setting up for it, and I love it. And to see him go through this in the very first issue, I have a feeling that he may get his comeuppance. He may get his revenge, everything. But will there be a happy ending to this if there's that much pain and suffering? I highly recommend this. If you want something that's going to hurt your feelings, like that's the only way I can think of it. It's like if you want to hurt the feelings has these dynamic fights and big, bold, and also horror and action, and seeing a character go through this traumatic, because what happens in the next issue? You've let out all this rage and sorrow and pain and suffering. What happens in the next issue? I want to know how it starts, how it ends, the middle. I want to know so much about it. So yes, I absolutely recommend this. This is from, like I said, Echelon Graphic Novels. They have a bunch of other books as well that I need to get into because I'm digging this one right off the bat. Is Reaper #1. Absolutely, it was just, and again, I love the fact that you can get the variant covers. I print as well, but you can get them in the digital because they had the other covers were absolutely beautiful as well. But this one is the one that hit me. So yeah, Reaper #1, definitely. Yeah, go. And it hurt. When I was reading it, I was like, oh, damn, this is what the, and I wanted to know so much more. But yes, that's the one. So that's everything as far as our stories and everything. But folks, it's Black Excellence Month. We've been doing this and we're going to keep doing this. We are going to give our spotlights for Black Excellence Month, spotlights from people all throughout geek culture, from every neck of the woods. I don't say that phrase very often. It sounds weird even coming out of me. All of that. So Robert, you're going to start us off because for Robert, we're going to give some people their flowers.
There you go.
That's it.
So I'll start off with Milestone Media. They've been in the news lately, but Milestone Media specifically for personally showing me that we could do this. You know, we could write, we could draw, we could create at that level. And Milestone for me is the first independent Black comic book company that I was aware of. So, but as a fan, as a creator, as a writer, I want to give my flowers to Milestone Media and the from past to present. So,
absolutely. For me, I'm going to go with Kari Randolph, one of my favorite artists, creatives. I remember the first book I read from him and I didn't know who he was at first. And I was like, oh, this is dope. And then just realizing at a certain point, I started just buying his work and I didn't know that I was buying his work. It was when I started realizing who artists were and their style and being able to look and go, oh, I think that's him. Let me go check and see it is. Oh yeah, this is him. He's worked on two of my favorite comics, two comics that are in always my top 3 or my top 5, I should say. He did some incredible covers for Noble. And then later on, he partnered up with one of the writers from Noble, Brandon Thomas, to do Excellence, which is a comic that is near and dear to my heart each and every single day of the week. Just amazing. Just an incredible artist and purveyor of great hats, I'll say as well. I don't think I've ever seen Kari without a hat on. Always got a hat, but some of the dopest hats possible. So yes, Kari Randolph is definitely deserves that Black Excellence Month spotlight.
So second for me is the Sci-Fi Sisters podcast. In the Trek space, I try to find voices, like from Black folks, talking about this fandom that I love. And when I, during one of these searches, I came across the Sci-Fi Sisters podcast, and my mind was blown. Though they focused a lot on Trek culture, the TV series, the movies, talking with celebrities from that world. They do cast a larger net into just science fiction overall and speculative fiction, I would just say in general, but they're honest and let's just sister sci-fi sister perspective on sister's perspective on Star Trek is what keeps me coming back to their podcast, and I'm a huge fan, and I love that we have examples nowadays of Black folks giving their perspective on this property that a lot of us love and enjoy. So the Sci-Fi Sisters podcast, I wanted to, present my flowers or to them too.
Outstanding. Next person is Michelin Hess, writer, artist, and one of the best people to do crowd work on social media. From Malice in Overland, which I think is where I first noticed her, and then Diary of a Mad Black Werewolf, which I still think is one of the best things that no one's talking about like that, and they really should, because it was astonishing. To Shook Volume 2, which is, I believe, her latest work. From her 3D stuff that she puts up online, from always being outspoken about everything from racism to a misogynoir, to queer-phobic speak, everything. Michelin House is one of the best people out there, one of the outstanding individuals possible, as far as being an artist, as far as being a writer, as far as being a creative, and as far as just being a human being. She's done work for Nickelodeon and Milestone, and she's not spoken about enough, and she's awesome. So yes.
And last for me is we keeping a track. LeVar Burton. he celebrated. He celebrated a birthday. I think it was this week or last week. And you know the name. The resume. Reading Rainbow, Star Trek roots. He is. I know he's a television director. He's directed a lot of TV. I want to say, like, his name pops up frequently for a lot of the Trek shows that have been done. And I even saw him recently on Leverage Redemption, playing a librarian who's a spy. But he is a talented actor. He is just a wonderful humanitarian. He's a awesome human being, and for Black geekdom, he is reigned supreme, in a variety of spaces, or places. So he is a wonderful Black man. he's just an awesome person, and for somebody watching Star Trek: The Next Generation growing up, it was good to see. It was awesome to see somebody who looked like me as a lead engineer on the ship and also flying the ship. So, shout out to LeVar Burton, and he's want to present my flowers to him. So.
Yeah, he's one of the coolest possible. For me, the last person I have is Greg Anderson Elisi. Incredible writer, purveyor of weights. He's one of the best people around, and someone who actually got me to change how I think about spiders. First conversation I ever had with him was online. I said, man, I dig this comic. This sounds really cool, but I don't like that cover because I don't like spiders. And then I met him in person and we spoke about it a bit. And I said, you know what, man, I want to get this, and I want to get the t-shirt as well. So, okay, cool, bet. And ever since then, I've followed everything he's done. He has this incredible library of varied books. He's written everything from like Isnana, the Were Spider, to a story about hockey, to a folk story about Hammer, which Robert here was like, that's probably like your comic of the year last year, right? Yeah. To one of the best love stories that I can think of, because I like unconventional love stories. And it was a story, and it was a comic called The Gentleman, and that is all I will say about that, unfortunately. because I would love more of that. But exactly, Robert, you just go ahead and drink. You just go ahead and drink, brother. Because, because you know, Marasa, another one, mine to avenge. Eventually, still waiting on that T-shirt. So that's a deep cut. That's a deep cut right there. I'm gonna be real with you. I realized that there were actually 2 T-shirts I was supposed to get, and I was like, "Wait, what?" But that's beside the point.
But he said they were coming.
Yeah, all right. Must be on Wagon Train or something. Greg is one of the most dynamic writers possible, and in my opinion, he is becoming one of the best folklore writers out there in fantasy. Like, and again, I'm going to use this comparison, but I don't mean to compare to the person and their vile acts. But with Hammer, they were on some Sandman type vibe. And it's giving that. And I love the fact that he's taking our folklore and giving it new breath. And just doing all of this. And also to see Greg be in who he is in his element now and showing more of an alt side to himself. And I want to see how that comes out in his creativity as well. Because as I said with Pepper, with a Piper Pepper, Monster Hunter, we don't see a lot of alt black characters in comics. So I'd love to see what Greg does with. I'm hoping that he'll bring out some alt black characters in future work, because I would love to see him and Nicholas Draper Ivy.
Damn.
Exactly my point. Exactly my point. I would love to see that. First off, the muscles wouldn't be able to hold a table at any convention. First off. And secondly, just how that would dynamically work would be awesome. But yeah, Greg is one of the best people around, one of the nice people around. Whenever I see him, we talk, and then we don't even talk about comics. We talk about everything about life, you know, in our lives and what's going on and how each other are doing, like just actual genuine human beings. And I love that about him. But his talent is so incredible and so amazing. And he hasn't even hit his peak yet. That's what's crazy to me. I feel like there's this upper echelon that he's going to hit, and he's going to just that rarefied air. Absolutely. He's one of those people that is there and deserves, excuse me, I always forget that I shouldn't use the word deserve, because some people take that and that privilege. Greg has earned every accolade and bit of work and everything that he has gotten in spades, truthfully. So yeah, Greg, there are your flowers. All right. So we've given out flowers, folks. We have talked about comics. We have talked about video games. We have talked about events. There's been a lot on the show, but I hope you were able to take it in. I hope you were able to have a great day. Oh, real quick, one thing, Robert, let me ask you, because it's New Comic Book Day, what are you reading?
I am actually reading the Green Lantern Corps trade from, it collects the first 5 issues of the Morgan Hampton and, it's the other, I can't remember the other writer's name, but it's first 5 issues of the all-in Green Lantern Corps. And it has given me all the space opera, sci-fi action that I want from that series. So
outstanding. Right now, tonight I'm probably going to read either Musa, Lion of Mali, which came out for Kickstarter.
Yes, I got my digital copy.
Got the digital. Or I'm going to read the latest volume 1 of Something is Killing the Children.
Okay.
One of the two. Just because I was excited about both. I'm like, oh, either I continue a story or I begin a great story. Either way, you can't lose. So, New Comic Book Day, go out there. Well, not now because it's kind of late. But unless you do digital or you're ordering to pick up tomorrow, whatever it is. But go check out some of the new comics that are out there. There's a whole bunch. If you check our Instagram, you saw some of the comics that hit me this week. I was like, oh, go check them out and have a good one. This Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Hungry Bleak Show will be live. Yes, I did not pre-record. It's a crazy week. We'll be live. I'll have some comic book reviews, maybe a couple of surprises for you, what have you. But then remember, Saturday and Sunday, VirtuousCon. Robert will be there. Jabba will be there. I will be there in our capacities, and we'll be having a lot of fun. And next week we'll have Geek Culture Upfronts. We'll have what's coming out for the month of March. March, correct?
Yeah.
I I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what day it is. Doesn't even matter.
Time is not
It's all the same. Time is a flat circle, like they said in True Detective. Anyway, folks, we're over time. We're probably going to get cut by the network. Actually, I am the network, so it doesn't matter. You have a very good evening, day. Enjoy the rest of it. Please be safe. Robert, as always, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, man.
And folks, we will see you all later. Have a good night. Drink water. Be safe. And abolish ICE. Yep. Fuck Trump.
I don't know. Heart.
Fire. Earth. Water.
Wind, water.
Our powers combined. We are out of here, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Have a good one, y'all.